chat. A very rare management is chatting with up on the banking industry, the wholesale banking industry, wealth management, institutional equities. He handles so much on his plate. I'm delighted to have Mr. KVS Manian, member of the board at Kotak Mahindra Bank, as well as Group Management Council. He wears a lot of hats out there. So we'll talk about a lot of stuff, the businesses which he is driving, and how's the environment shaping up, and of course a lot of things which is taking the development which are also happening at Kotak Mahindra Bank. Mr. Manian, thanks very much for this chat. Let's start by understanding your trends from your vantage point, the trend that you are seeing in wholesale banking first, because I was just looking at the credit growth data for the industry. It has come back to above 8%, 8.1%, and like it's gradually recovering. Up till now, we've mostly discussed retail lending trends, but what's happening in the wholesale side? A lot of auto companies are talking capex, some other sectors, but what are you picking up from your side?
Yeah, so I think the credit growth is still largely driven by retail. I think the corporate credit growth is still not fully there, though I am now beginning to see capex plans of corporates, and even in the SME segment, we are seeing capex, capex plans. So I think what has happened is the corporates have deleveraged so much, and they have and their profits have been quite healthy all through the last 2-3 years. And some of the commodity sectors, which are large capex, companies usually, they have all made so much money that they can their internal accruals to fund capex plans. So I think initially the capex plans are being funded by the internal accruals, but I see pickup going forward. Maybe it's another 12 months away where credit growth driven by capex will start happening.
You are actually echoing the same commentary. We were talking to Mr. Kamath also the other day, and he was also saying that the structure of the capex has changed. So the old economy, large, industry which used to take a lot of credit growth have become much more nimble, and everything is funded by their cash flows. You tell us, sir, which kind of sectors do you see where inquiries are coming for working capital, or is it the MSME side, which is also, where good appetite is there, inquiries are there? What is giving you this visibility that you expect in 12 months onward, things could start improving a whole lot?
So if you see most of these commodity companies, like I said, they've made very good money. But you see many of them have announced capex plans, and they have reasonable capex plans. So one is, that's why I feel that as they exhaust their internal accruals to fund it, they'll come back to the loan markets to borrow. And second is, I am seeing specific sectors like logistics, specialty chemicals, and there are many other small sectors where we are seeing SMEs actually putting up capacities, new capacities. So I can see it happening, though I would say it's not yet very, a trend that has gathered momentum. I expect it to gather momentum over the next 12 months or so.
In this hypothesis of yours, Mr. Manian, how does the rate starting to move higher or harden? That piece, how does it fit in? Because after all, the cost of capital for corporate India starts moving up, their projections and everything starts getting all jumbled up. How is all of that actually tying up or swinging up?
So, I have always been a believer that nobody puts up capacities to just make that 1% extra on borrowings, right? Their return on equity expectations are significantly higher. So I think the rate increases of 50 basis and 100 basis do not significantly influence capacity plans of corporates. What really influences them is the demand side, that the demand will sustain, and they will have significant growth in demand which will absorb the capacity. So I think that is more crucial, and I think we should, so in that context, more than interest rates, I think it is inflation that we should worry about. As inflation, if inflation stays too high, though I do expect inflation to moderate going forward from here, partly because of base effect as well. I think if inflation doesn't go out of hand, the demand will sustain, and that will therefore the capex plans will not get derailed. Is my hypothesis again.
Sure. In fact, except crude, all the agri commodities, industrial commodities in the last few weeks have come down 15-20%, giving a reason for people to believe. But that perhaps a process of picking out of inflation is underway. But you are confident. So because just a couple of months we'll start entering the the season where demand goes up, and before that stocking of material. I'm talking about the festive demand, pre-stocking, all of that. So that cycle is a good one. You believe demand to be healthy in the economy going forward?
Yeah, right now I do not see demand slackening. Like I said, if inflation stays in control, which I do believe will remain in control, and with some steps taken by the government, again, this will help. So I think it will sustain, is my belief.
Okay, let's move on and talk about another business which you look after, and that is institutional equities and IPO related, capital market related work. Last 2 years I would say were quite buoyant. How is that fundraising pipeline for, because you guys are the premier agency helping companies in your investment banking side?
Right. No, so the pipeline, if you talk about the pipeline remains healthy. I think there are enough companies waiting to raise capital. So two things are happening. I think one, I think the valuation expectations will change given what has happened in the market. So that is one. And second, I would say the pace will not be as furious as it was in the last 2 years maybe. But I think the capital markets will remain active. Even now, the demand for good stories and good, when I say good stories, good concepts, good companies remains high. In fact, last couple of issues we launched post IC, which is post the, post-war, post-LIC, all of that. Last two issues we did fairly well with the investors. So I would say that the demand for the right stories continues to be good, except that valuation expectations will have to be moderated suitably given the state of the markets.
That's interesting. I'd like your a little more thought on that. Do you think promoters' perception, investors, the way they are looking at these kind of concepts, some consumer tech, all of these, now companies are becoming much more cash flow and profitability conscious? Do you think that case also back on the table? Because earlier that wasn't really the point. Growth was something which everybody wanted. Investors and promoters themselves are only talking much about high growth.
Right. No, so fundamentally all businesses are expected to make profits, and that's what they get valuation for. So what had happened was, it is not about the growth. It was when the markets were at its peak, people were willing to wait for profits, say till 2028. So they were making a more longer term call, saying that if we discount forward the 28 years, 2028 earnings and then apply a multiple to it, they were okay. But as markets get more choppy and slightly more valuation conscious, probably the wait for 2028 will not happen. They will expect the companies to make money earlier than they were expecting in the earlier scenario. So I would say growth is important. Growth as a means to profit, finally, of course, ultimately profit. The question is, how long do you grow without making profits? And that tenure, I think markets is now recalibrating that. Right.
So clearly, a lot of interesting stuff happening on your investment bank and capital market related business as well. Mr. Manian, market is also pretty curious, and large sections of your own bank's shareholders we interact with off record and offline in friendly circles. Everybody is talking about the succession plan at Kotak Mahindra Bank. Can you give us a flavor of where things stand right now, how things are progressing? I understand that Mr. Jay Kotak also has a larger role now playing in the organization. How's that shaping up?
So, we have already clarified that as an organization. Of course, it's too premature. I think Uday is the CEO till December 23. So I think it is still premature to think about the exact name for succession. but I'm sure the NRC and the board at an appropriate time will take that call. As far as Jay Kotak is concerned, he has been he's working his through the ranks of the organization on merits. He joined the investment banking side, and then he joined the consumer bank, and he's currently working in 811 as a product. And it is based on merit, he will grow from here.
Excellent. But I'm told that you are grooming him across businesses, in a way to much more larger responsibilities going forward. How much mindshare is he giving to more business or working closely with you?
No, so it's he works with the consumer bank, and I don't handle the consumer bank. So that's more speculation. But like I said,
Okay.
these are things that at an appropriate time, the board and the NRC of the board will take a call on.
Right. Let's move on and also talk about the capital market related business, which is retail centric, because that's really the strongest pillar of the market right now. We've seen the highest selling in 11 years, the highest selling in 1 year from FIS side, which FIS bought in 11 years, and that all was absorbed by retail. So retail seemed to have come up as a big pillar, and now you are
Right.
going to approaching retail investors in a very platform centric approach with your new offerings.
Right.
What is the
Right.
progress there? How significant would it be for you?
Right. So as you know, we launched Kotak Cherry, formally launched it today. We have been working on it for last 12 to 18 months. We launched it formally today. The way we see it is that Kotak has a great presence in the private banking and the priority banking space. We are a very significant player in that space, and we have built a huge domain expertise in that area, in the investment management, wealth management area. And now we think there is potential to bring that domain expertise to the mass affluent category, the category lower than that. If you look at various numbers of investors in demat accounts and mutual funds, you will come back to a core investment if you consider at least 10,000 rupees to be invested. The number will be 4 or 5 crores Indians are doing that, right? So I think there is a huge potential in that segment to bring this proposition down to, and that is what we want to now focus on. And we think this is a problem that exists. There is a need gap. That segment of customers are still struggling to find the right products, right advice, right platform, right way to execute transactions, all of that. And therefore, I think this can be solved with good domain expertise along with good technology capabilities. And, Kotak has been one of the pioneering brands on the digital banking side as well with 811. Now we feel that it is time to use our digital capabilities and the domain expertise in investment management and bring them together and create a proposition for the mass affluent and that category. And that's the purpose of launching Kotak Cherry. We are quite excited. This is a huge opportunity for us and for the investors to participate.
What is the potential of this opportunity, Mr. Manian? You said it's very huge, and yes, there's no doubt about what Kotak has done work with affluent and ultra HNI already. Right. So that perhaps can be replicated here, the experience that you have. But what's the potential you're chasing? What kind of numbers are possible in, say, 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so we are starting with the goal post, saying that the goal post is 1 million customers in the first 1 year, 12 months from now. So that's the target we have taken. Like I told you, if you look at the universe of what we are attacking, it's huge, right? If 4 to 5 crore investors are really serious investors today, even if you, overestimate, even if you assume I am underestimating, it is 5-6 crore customers who are investing out there. And I'm sure India can have, with our population, should have significantly more investors out there, right? So I think the universe is huge. At least we have taken a target to reach out to 1 million customers at the end of 1 year. And from there, we'll build it on.
All right, Mr. Manian, thanks very much for chatting with us today. across your businesses and also
much. It
giving
was a
us
pleasure
a
talking with you, Ajay.
thought process on succession. Thanks so much.